What I'm about to share with you is the most effective practice I have ever discovered, a method so genuinely transformative that when applied with faithful persistence, it rewires the very structure of your reality. Its power doesn't come from complexity, it comes from the unwavering conviction with which you use it. This is not theory I'm offering you. This is law, as fixed and reliable as gravity, as certain as sunrise. When you truly take hold of this principle and work it with unshakable faith, your world will reorganize itself with such exactness that you will be stopped in your tracks by the realization of what you actually are. Here is the practice. Take your desire, your wish already fulfilled, and speak it to yourself as a present fact, not as something approaching, not as something you're hoping for, as something that already exists. 100 times each day, declare your desire as accomplished reality. But here is the vital detail that most people completely miss. It is not the words being repeated that carry the power. It is the feeling of naturalness that must accompany every single declaration. Let me show you the mechanics underneath this. Your consciousness, your I am, is God individualized. When you declare a thing to be true, while genuinely occupying the state of your wish fulfilled, you are engaging the same creative force that shaped the universe. This is not motivational thinking. This is not positive psychology. This is the activation of universal law. Consider what's actually true about the reality surrounding you right now. Every person, every circumstance, every situation you call real was once a thought, an imagination. Your current relationships, your current position in life, your current circumstances, all of them were conceived first in imagination before they solidified into the world you move through. The outer world is nothing more than a reflection, a shadow cast by your inner assumptions. When you repeat your desire 100 times each day, you are not doing affirmations. You are pressing a pattern into the substance of creation itself. You are programming the depths of your subconscious mind, not casually, but with deliberate saturation. This is precisely why the feeling matters so completely. Every repetition must be carried by the sensation of naturalness, the felt certainty that your desire already belongs to you. Let me share something about this practice that very few people grasp. The number 100 is not arbitrary. It represents completeness, totality, the fullness of conviction. When you repeat your desire 100 times, you are symbolically declaring that it has claimed every corner of your consciousness. No part of you remains unconvinced. No shadow of the old assumption survives. The entire space of your mind is occupied by the reality of your wish fulfilled. But hold this clearly. The words are only containers. What they carry is the feeling, the consciousness of desire already fulfilled. If your desire is financial abundance, each repetition must carry the actual sensation of security and freedom that abundance delivers. If your desire is a loving relationship, each repetition must hold the warmth, the companionship, the deep settled ease of already being in that love. Many of you ask the same question. How can I feel something that hasn't happened yet? Here is the supreme secret. In the realm of consciousness, there is no yet. There is only now. When you enter the state where your desire already exists, you are not pretending or anticipating. You are actually entering the reality in which it is already true. Your physical world then has no choice but to conform. It must catch up. The universe is not somewhere outside you, waiting to be persuaded. It is within you. It is your own imagination externalized. When you repeat your desire 100 times with genuine feeling, you are rearranging the universe, because you are rearranging your consciousness, and your consciousness is the universe. Let me make this practical. Suppose you want a particular position in your company. Instead of saying, I want that role, or I will eventually get that role, you declare, I am so grateful to be doing work I love in my perfect position. Say it 100 times each day. But, and this is everything, feel the satisfaction that comes with actually being there. Feel the fulfillment, the daily joy of it, the settled confidence of someone for whom this is simply their life. Something remarkable then begins to happen around you. The people in your world begin responding differently. Opportunities surface that weren't visible before. Circumstances rearrange themselves in ways that seem almost orchestrated. This isn't coincidence. It isn't luck. It is law. Your outer world cannot do anything other than mirror your inner convictions. Just as your reflection in a mirror can only move exactly as you move, your external reality can only shift to match your internal state. Persistent repetition, combined with feeling, creates an unshakable conviction, and conviction creates a new world. Some of you are thinking, I've tried affirmations before, they didn't work. Here is the distinction that changes everything. You are not trying to convince yourself of something. Convincing implies doubt. Convincing implies that part of you believes the opposite is true. What you are doing here is different. You are occupying a state of consciousness in which your desire is already a settled fact. The repetition is not there to argue you into belief. It is there to saturate your consciousness with the reality of fulfillment until that reality becomes your natural frequency. Think about your own name. When you wake in the morning, you don't need to convince yourself of who you are. You simply know it. That knowing requires no effort, no repetition for the purpose of persuasion. It is simply what is. This is the quality of naturalness you are building toward your desire. Through repeated occupation of the fulfilled state, your desire becomes as self-evident as your own identity. And the universe responds not to your words, it responds to your state. When you repeat your desire 100 times daily, with genuine feeling, you are systematically becoming the version of yourself who already has what you want. The universe then rearranges itself not as a favor, but as a simple necessity. It is conforming to who you have become. Here is another vital aspect of the practice. As you repeat your desire, you must learn to exclude the testimony of your physical senses when they contradict what you've claimed. If your bank account shows shortage while you are declaring abundance, you must remain faithful to your inner conviction rather than the external fact. The external will change. It must change, but only after you have firmly established the new reality within your consciousness. This requires a level of mental discipline that most people are unwilling to exercise. It is easy to accept what your eyes show you. It requires genuine spiritual maturity to remain faithful to an inner conviction, while outer evidence seems to argue against it. But this is exactly what separates those who successfully manifest their desires from those who remain locked in circumstances they didn't consciously choose. Every repetition done with feeling is a seed dropped into the fertile ground of your subconscious mind. And just as a farmer doesn't dig up his seeds daily to examine whether they're growing, you must not constantly search your external world for proof that your manifestation is underway. Plant the seed through repetition. Water it with feeling. Then trust the law. The law operates with mathematical precision. Just as 2 and 2 cannot help but produce 4, consciousness made concrete through persistent repetition must produce its equivalent in the outer world. This is not something I believe. It is something I have verified repeatedly, in my own life and in the lives of countless others who have worked these principles faithfully. Consider this carefully. Your consciousness is the only reality. Everything you observe in the outer world is simply consciousness made visible, objectified, externalized, pushed out into form. When you genuinely understand this, you realize that changing your consciousness through persistent repetition is not one way of changing your life. It is the only way, because the outer world isn't separate from you. It is you, expressed. Every person in your world, every circumstance, every event, all of it is your consciousness made visible. Change the consciousness through this practice of repetition with feeling, and everything changes, not some things. everything. A question that always arises: how long must I continue this practice? Until your desire feels natural, until it feels more real to you than your current circumstances feel. For some, this shift happens quickly. For others, it takes longer. The time required reflects your capacity to remain faithful to your inner conviction without external confirmation. And remember, time itself is a human construct. In the realm of consciousness, where all creation actually takes place, there is no time. There is only the intensity of your conviction. This is why some desires manifest quickly, while others take longer. The speed of manifestation is directly proportional to the completeness of your acceptance of the desire as fact. Each of the 100 daily repetitions, when carried out with genuine feeling, deepens that acceptance. It strengthens your certainty. It makes your new reality feel more and more natural, until there comes a point where accepting anything less becomes genuinely impossible for you. There's a further dimension of this practice that deserves special attention: gratitude. As you repeat your desire, weave in the felt experience of gratitude for its fulfillment. Gratitude is not simply a pleasant emotion. It is the inner acknowledgement of something as already yours. When you feel genuinely grateful for something, you are confirming its presence in your life, even before the physical senses can verify it. This is why genuine gratitude is one of the highest creative states available to you. When you combine repetition with authentic gratitude, you are not only declaring your desire as fact, you are fully receiving it as yours. This combination is among the most powerful creative forces a human being can bring to bear. You must also learn to guard your mental environment with the same care you would give your physical diet if you were training for the most important athletic performance of your life. Every thought that passes through your mind is either reinforcing your desired state or contradicting it. This is another reason the number 100 matters. It creates genuine momentum in your consciousness. It builds a foundation of conviction so solid that ordinary negative thoughts cannot dislodge it. Think about how a river carves a canyon, not through occasional violent surges, but through constant, patient, unrelenting flow. This is how you must approach the practice. Each single repetition is like one drop of water, seemingly nothing on its own, yet capable of reshaping entire landscapes when applied without interruption. Your consciousness is a garden. Your repeated declarations with feeling are seeds. A garden doesn't erupt overnight, and neither may your manifestation. But tend it faithfully, and it must appear. The law guarantees it. Let me address something crucial: the difference between dictating how your desire will arrive versus maintaining the state of consciousness in which it already exists. Many people derail their own manifestations by trying to control the specific channel through which what they want will come to them. This is a fundamental mistake. The how and the when belong to the law, to the infinite intelligence that has access to possibilities your conscious mind cannot even imagine. Your task is simply to persist in the consciousness of fulfillment through faithful, feeling-filled repetition. Let the law determine the route. You hold the destination. When you try to micromanage the how, you actually narrow the channels through which your good can reach you. When you repeat your desire 100 times daily with genuine feeling, you open yourself to all possible channels simultaneously. You are surrendering the method while maintaining absolute conviction about the outcome. This is the difference between forcing and allowing, combined with persistent repetition, is infinitely more powerful. Here's something profound that few people truly grasp about this practice. When you repeat your desire with genuine feeling, you are experiencing your future in the present moment. You are collapsing time. You are drawing what would otherwise belong to the future into the living now. This is not a metaphor. Every moment of your life, you occupy a particular state of consciousness, a specific configuration of beliefs, assumptions, and feelings about yourself and your world. When you deliberately enter and sustain a new state through conscious repetition, you are literally stepping into a new dimension of experience. Your consciousness is not a product of reality. It is the substance from which reality is built. Change the substance through persistent repetition with feeling, and the forms constructed from that substance must change. Results must follow. It is law. Now let me be absolutely clear about one thing that often confuses people. Simply repeating words 100 times will produce nothing. The words are instruments, tools designed to help you maintain the feeling of your wish fulfilled. It is the feeling that does the creating. The words support the feeling. Without feeling, words are hollow vessels, empty ceremony. But when repetition is fused with genuine feeling, you engage the full creative power of consciousness itself. Think about being in love. When you are genuinely in love with someone, you don't need to repeat affirmations, convincing yourself that you love them. You simply feel it. It is your natural state. This is the quality you are building toward your desire. Through 100 daily repetitions with feeling, you are becoming the person for whom your desire is simply the natural landscape of their life. The scripture says, "In the beginning was the Word." This does not refer to verbal language. It refers to the creative power of consciousness itself, the felt declaration of what is real. When you repeat your desire 100 times with genuine feeling, you are engaging precisely this creative power. You are speaking your new world into being. Some of you will begin this practice with real enthusiasm and abandon it the moment results don't appear on your preferred timeline. This is among the most common and most costly mistakes a person can make. You are reprogramming your entire consciousness, not just the surface layer, the deep subconscious structures through which your entire reality is being generated. This takes persistence and genuine patience. Consider learning a new language. At the beginning, it feels foreign, effortful, slightly absurd. Then, through consistent practice, it begins to feel easier, and eventually it becomes natural. You begin to dream in it. The same arc applies here. At first, your new state of consciousness may feel forced or unconvincing. This is normal. With faithful repetition, it steadily becomes your native state. The strangeness fades. The new reality feels increasingly like simply what is true. This is why 100 repetitions carries such force. It represents absolute commitment to your new state of consciousness. When you repeat your desire 100 times each day, you are signaling with unmistakable clarity that you are fully dedicated to your new reality. And this level of commitment always produces results. The universe isn't testing you. It is responding to your consciousness with mathematical exactness. When you maintain a consistent state through persistent repetition with feeling, it has no choice but to reflect that consciousness back to you in physical form. Let me speak to something that many people carry but rarely name directly. As you repeat your desire, you must be genuinely willing to release the old self-concept that produced your current circumstances. You cannot hold on to the version of yourself that justifies your limitations while simultaneously becoming the version of yourself who has outgrown them. This is like trying to fill a cup that is still completely full of something else. The old must be emptied to make room for the new. Many people hold tightly to their old stories, their familiar limitations, their comfortable explanations for why they don't yet have what they want, while attempting to create something new. This is the hidden reason so many techniques fail. The repetition has no room to land because the old self-concept hasn't been released. Each of the 100 daily repetitions, when carried with genuine feeling, functions like a careful tool, slowly, steadily reshaping who you understand yourself to be. With persistence, the new self-concept becomes more real to you than any former limitation. What was once your ceiling becomes simply a memory of a state you used to occupy. Every great turning point in human history began this way, with a shift in consciousness. The Wright brothers had to hold the reality of human flight as genuinely possible before a single prototype left the ground. Edison had to maintain the consciousness of success through thousands of attempts that produced no usable light before the filament finally held. Whatever your desire, it follows the same law. Through persistent repetition with feeling, you are constructing the consciousness of your desire fulfilled. And just as certainly as those achievements materialized for those who held the vision, your desire must manifest when you maintain the proper state. This brings us to perhaps the most important distinction of all. When you repeat your desire 100 times daily with feeling, you are not trying to get something. You are acknowledging what is already yours in consciousness. You are not approaching from a position of wanting, because wanting implies that what you want is absent. Absence creates absence. Instead, you are living from your desire, not toward it. You are creating from a state of fulfillment, not from a state of lack. Think about what it feels like to actually have something. You don't spend energy wanting it. You don't strategize how to acquire it. You simply have it and move through your life from that reality. This is the state you are building through repetition. The feeling of already having, not the feeling of hoping to receive. When repetition fuses with the feeling of genuine fulfillment, you are creating a new pattern in the universal substance. The feeling makes it real in consciousness, and what is real in consciousness cannot remain absent from experience. Each repetition, carried with genuine feeling, is what the ancients would have recognized as true prayer, not begging, not pleading, not stating requests to something external and hoping for favorable consideration. Prayer, in its original sense, is the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Every single repetition done with feeling is a declaration of that fulfillment. One more drop filling the vessel of your consciousness. And when that vessel is full, when your consciousness is genuinely saturated with the felt reality of your wish fulfilled, manifestation follows not as a possibility, but as a certainty. Practice this faithfully. Repeat your desire 100 times each day with genuine feeling, live from the state of your wish fulfilled, not toward it. Guard that state. Release the old self-concept that no longer serves you. Trust the law's timing without trying to dictate its methods. And do this persistently, not until you feel like stopping, but until the desired state has become your natural way of being. When that happens, when what you once desired has become simply what you are, the universe will have already rearranged itself to match you. It has no other option. It is law, and the law never fails. This is Neville Lectures, and I will see you in the next one.